Hey guys, welcome back to Ray's Creek Cards. Thank you so much for being here. So tonight we are going to do the Thoughtful Expressions bundle, and we are going to be coloring the hummingbird. And I'm going to show you just a quick, simple, easy way you can color the hummingbird, because I know a lot of times sets like this where it pretty much demands you be able to color it somehow, some way. That can kind of knock us away from getting some of these really pretty stamp sets. This is in the new mini catalog. You may have already had a good look at it in your catalog. You have the dies that go with this, and there is also some DSP in that suite called Poetic Expressions. We're going to be using some of that tonight. Now, the catalog actually did a really good job of showing the patterns, but I thought we would run through them just ever so quickly. I actually didn't order the suite. I ordered the bundle and I ordered the DSP. I don't know, are y'all seeing this okay? And I ordered the DSP, but I didn't order the bling because I wasn't sure if I would like it. And I'm still not sure if I would like it, but that's okay. That's all right. So here you can see all these patterns close up, and then we're going to flip them over so you can see the back side. And this is a pattern. Actually, I've got it upside down. This is the one that we're going to be using on tonight's fun fold. But aren't these pretty? They're different. They're just really pretty. Some of them kind of look like maybe material. Not sure what you would call them. That one's really pretty. I like that. And then there we go. All right, so tonight's card, like I said, is going to be a little bit different because the finished card is going to be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so you're going to want a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4, not by 11, but by 8 1/2. Okay, and then we're going to score it at 4 1/4. So it's cut at 4 1/4, and it's going to be scored at 4 1/4. Wait a minute. Is this 8 1/2? I may not have cut that down. It's been a beautiful, busy day. Let me check. No, I didn't cut it down. So let's cut that down. Well, there went my score blade one more time. I cannot seem to keep it on the track. I'm not sure what, well, that was a mess up, but I'll fix it in a minute. I always like my score blade to go first. Now let's line it up at 4 1/4. Now it looks right. Now let's score that. All right, there we go. Put my arm back in and let me fold this. And so I don't know if you can see how it's off a little bit, and a lot of times that's going to happen. Have I ever showed you how to fix it? I swear, how to fix it. So let me show you. If you will take the ends and line them up right here on this little backstop, I call it a backstop. Make sure it's straight from side to side. Both layers are now together, and as you can tell, it is off a little bit because I'm kind of airy right there. There's a little bulge, and then just take your bone folder and come up into that fold, and that will fix it where it's off. And I've also noticed it actually kind of helps that lay down a little bit flatter, most of the time. Unless I'm on video. It didn't do it that time, but so I don't know. My thing is not broke, but I have battled this for some time. It just wanting to fly out. I may end up having to replace my trimmer. Don't know. All right, so what you have now is a finished card side of 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, okay? And doesn't matter if you want your card to open this way, if you want it to open this way. I actually think I want it to open like a mini top top card. Okay. All right. Now let's cut. And I'm going to get my other cutter in here for this. You're going to need 2 pieces of basic white. Can I get this to go back in? There we go. You're going to need 2 pieces of basic white that are cut 4 by 4. And I have got a sheet of regular basic white here. And we're just going to go ahead and cut this very quickly. Can you even see? Have I got it where you can see? There we go. And 4. Gosh, guys, it's hard to believe. Okay, again at 4. This year is almost gone. It was just the other day. It was a new year, right? Cannot believe how quick this year has gone. And I really think the older we get, the quicker it goes, too. I think that's part of it. When we're young, we feel like we have all the time in the world. All right, I'm going to flatten this out and just lay these pieces to the side for just a minute because we are going to bring in that hummingbird so I can show you how quick and easy it is to color it, okay? I don't want something like that to ever hold anybody back from getting a set that they could enjoy. Y'all know I do Ohuhu markers, okay? And so I am going to be using the G190 and the GY3. The G190 is my darkest. And we're just going to keep this simple, guys. Just keep it simple. Again, the artist has given us all of the darkest areas. Just go in with your darkest color and put your green in there, your darkest green. Or, you know, I almost did like a pink and purple hummingbird. I did. I was going to do something kind of in the fantasy realm. And, I mean, we can still do that at some point down the road. And right here on top of the head, you're going to have some areas that are darker. Maybe just a little bit right through there. And it almost looks blobby when you start out. Or it does for me. It may not for you. And I'm just streaking some of that darker green where the artist has already put in the shadows. Okay. Although I am reserving that little area right there, and you'll see that in a minute. I'm leaving this in my Misty for the simple reason that I have the Misty sticky mats down, and I know my cardstock isn't going to go anywhere, which may not be that big a deal when you're coloring an image, but like for doing stencils, things like that, yeah, it's really important that you don't have your paper shifting around. So that's why I'm doing that, because I'm on this glass mat. And yes, we do have that wonderful silicone mat that goes with this. And guys, if you want the glass mat studio that comes with the silicone mat and the cleaning cloth, and I love that cleaning cloth. I've been using it hot and heavy. That is only reserved, at least now, for people who sign up to become a demonstrator during January and February celebration. While our mini catalog is going to be good until April, the celebration is only going to go from January the 4th through February the 29th. And then that chance to get that will be gone. So now I'm going to bring in my light green, which was the GY3. And I'm just going to fill in with the light. And I'm being careful around the eye because I don't want to get in too close, okay? And we're just going to fill him in with this lighter green. And remember, if y'all caught me on the live Tuesday, you know I told you when it comes to alcohol blends, sometimes you just kind of got to give them a minute to kind of settle in. But hopefully you can already see the difference between my light green and my dark green. And as you can tell, I'm not taking any special pains to do this. I'm just taking my alcohol marker and coloring that in. Nothing fancy, nothing that you have to develop a whole new skill set for. Just filling that in. And then I wanted it a little bit lighter right there on his back where I felt like it would be getting more light. And then maybe right there as it starts to curve. And you're going to have some light and dark areas in the tail feathers. There we go. And so you see, this is really not that hard. And again, coloring pencils would look really pretty too. Whatever you are comfortable with. Now, for his belly. Now, hummingbirds will have that, or at least the ruby-throated hummingbirds have a white area right under the neck. However, the rest of them can kind of have a buff color or even maybe a light gray color. And so I am going to use the E210. It's called Brick Beige. But I just wanted to give him a little bit of tonality right down here where it would be the darkest. I don't want to come up too far because we have got that white area that we want to keep. So I've got that. And then for his throat, I'm using the R170. It's called Lipstick Red. And that's a real small area, so I'm just going to use my, my fine tip there. And just color that in. It is such a small area. I didn't feel it was really worth trying to shade it. I really didn't. So I feel like that was a good shade of red. So we've got that. And there was something, oh yes, I'm going to take that same E210. And now here's what I'm going to do. A real hummingbird has got not just green, but they have some brown, some gray, some other tones going on. If you look up photos of ruby-throated hummingbirds online, you'll see them captured in different flight or in sitting. The light may be different. It's going to look different depending on how the light is hitting them. So here's how you can so easily put in a touch of realism. And if you've got the Stampin' Up! Blends, if you've got the crumb cake, or even some of those light skin tones, one of those would work. So this is what I'm going to do. One of the properties of alcohol markers is that you can push colors around up to a point, okay? So even though I have got my 2 shades of green going in here, I want you to see how I can push some of that green. Even though this is a really light beige color, I can start to push some of that green out of the way, and I can start to bring some of that tone, that different tone, where it's a mixture of pushing some of that green out of the way and bringing in some of this really soft beige. So I don't know if you're seeing it yet, but I'm just pushing, just by stroking, I am pushing a little bit of that green out of the way. And you're not trying to color the whole thing, but you just want that tonality in there. And the more times you go back over it, the more tonality change you're going to see. And that is going to be the easiest way for you to get a blend. So are you starting to see how this is pushing some of that green, and it is allowing this other tone to kind of start coming through a little bit. And you can always go back and do more of it if you feel like you need more of that. There you go. All right, can you see that? I do have my camera up just a little bit higher. let me get a hold of this and bring it up. And hopefully, do you see where some of that change has took place? Because we pushed away some of that. Now, I didn't think to dig out my Ohuhu blender. So I do have my Stamping Blends blender, and I always open it off screen because every time I've ever opened this, I have juice. I have the stuff, it just flies out. And I'm simply going to take right here near the top of where we put that light beige, and I'm just going to feather over it to blend that just a little bit better. And give it a few minutes, because it does take a few minutes. But I didn't want there to be like a harsh line, okay? And that's it. That's all we have to do. Now, that does kind of bother me. And I don't have a fine point black paint pen anymore. So I've just got a really dark black ink pen, and I am simply filling that in right there. Now, you could have put maybe a light gray or something if the light was maybe hitting on top of his beak. Personally, I just assumed the whole thing was black and be done. We are card makers, people. We are not all that when it comes to being artists, but by the same token, you can get dramatic effects, beautiful effects, just with basic coloring. It doesn't have to be fancy. I actually had 2 of those stamped just in case I messed up. I mean, you know, not that I ever make a mistake. But anyway, all right. But I hope y'all have your eye on this set. Do you see these dies? And all the different pretty dies for the sentiments and for layering. It's awesome. It's awesome. You know, even if I didn't want the stamp set, I still would have ordered the dies. But I did want the stamp set. Now, as we get into the making of this card, I hope you don't think I messed it up, because, surprise, surprise, I'm not using any of the flowers. Not in this design, but I'll show you here in a minute how we're going to finish it off. And I've got some used crafter's tape, and I'm going to bring up my boho blue mini machine. And I noticed earlier today when I picked it up, see that? See how it's wiggling? It's not the glass mat, I promise you. It is straight, it is level, it is perfect. When I turned it over, I'm missing one of my little feetses. So, I'm kind of dirty there on the bottom. Oops, you didn't see that. So somehow, some way, I've got to find one or make one. In the meantime, I'll be very gentle in doing this die cutting here. And we're going to die cut our hummingbird out. And we'll have that much done. And then the only other thing we are going to need to die cut here in a minute will be to cut out the sentiment. And I am using a sentiment from Thoughtful Expressions. And I'm using one of those dies to cut out the sentiment. Let me peel this off. Stick it over here to the side. I stick him on my light that's over here on this side. I've got it moved to where hopefully there's no reflection coming up on this glass mat. And I've noticed that even people who have the black glass mats, that does not totally eliminate any glare from lights. So I've been looking at light diffusers, but oh my word, they're so expensive. Guys, I can't afford them right now. I mean, that's just being honest. So I endeavor each and every time I do a video to at least try to do the best I can, finagle what I can to make the experience for you as good as I can. So here is your In My Thoughts today. And I do have the boho blue ink. And we're going to go ahead and just stamp that. Haven't used this color very much, and I love boho blue. When they very first introduced the boho blue mini, I didn't realize that was going to end up being one of the colors that would be given to us. And I liked the mini machine enough to order it, even though I already had the white one. So there we go. You're in my thoughts today. Love how everybody is mixing those fonts now. So I was in here earlier today. My Stampin' Scrub's still just a little bit damp. Mr. Stampin' Scrub is going to have to go get a major bath. And I'm bringing this back in. Let me get my take your pick tool. I'm actually able to use the smallest. I don't know what you call this shape. I'm sure there is a name for it somehow, some way. Can y'all see I'm in my jammies? I kind of got a late shower, and it was late enough. I was probably this afternoon. I had taken a shower last night, so I got up this morning, and instead of taking another one this morning, here it was about 4 in the afternoon. And I thought, you know what? I'm putting my jammies on, and I did. So y'all just overlook my PJs. All right, so we've got that, and we need to die cut it. Is it straight? I think so. Is it? Looks kind of crooked. Let me peel this back if I can. Let's see if I can. It just doesn't look straight, or did I stamp it crooked? Now that's a possibility. I may have. Let me see here. And that doesn't look bad. Am I centered? Maybe I need to come down just a hair. And try that and see. That doesn't look crooked like it did, but there for a second it did. It just looked crooked. I guess it's okay. Let me get a little mini bean back up here. Get this one cut. And then the only other thing we need to do is cut our pieces of DSP. And, whoops, yeah, you know, when you're dealing with a glass mat, sometimes you're going to make some noise, and I think that's just part of the learning curve. Honestly, for some time, I had thought about getting a glass mat. I really had. Wasn't sure if I would like it, and so I kept holding off. And so when Stampin' Up! Came out with this, I thought, heck yeah. And I'm not sorry I bought it. It's just, it's different. It's new. If you've never used a glass mat, it can be a little to get used to. But I love the fact that, you know, had I wanted to color the hummingbird on here, it wouldn't have hurt anything. It wouldn't have hurt anything at all. And now that that ink has had a chance to settle in a little bit, let me, if I can pick him up. I don't know if you can tell how that just kind of softened that to where there's not a sharp line there on the shadow. All right. Got that. I swear that looks crooked to me. It's not. The best I can tell, it is not crooked. Okay, and I do want to do one thing. I'm not going to have room on this 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 card front to get that next biggest die and like do a boho blue layer under it and the hummingbird. That hummingbird's pretty good size, y'all. So I'm going to dip that in the boho blue. Is that okay? That looks okay. And this will dry pretty quick. It's not like back when I was doing Christmas cards and I was using red ink. That was taking just a little bit to dry. This is going to dry so much quicker, and I know I can throw that down there and it's not gonna stain anything. If I get any ink on there, it'll wipe right off. Okay, get rid of this scrap. All right, now I've got my card pieces here, but we do need to cut that DSP. So, very quickly off screen, I am going to cut a strip that is 1 3/4 of an inch. Well, I guess I can bring it up there on screen. I have showed you this before. So you want it 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and we want 4 of them. So 1 3/4. 1 3/4. And there is an up and a down to this pattern, I think. You may disagree with me, but I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. But yes, I do feel like there is an up and a down. 1 3/4, number 4. There we go. And I can probably get, might even be able to get 3 more out of that piece. All right, let me pick these up. Put this to the side. So in showing you this pattern, I feel like all of those little points, almost like the rays from a star, need to be pointed upwards. To me, it don't look right if you do it the other way. See what I'm saying? To me, that's the only way it looks right. So we want that up. Want to make sure this one is facing up and facing up and facing up. So now we have our 4 pieces. We're going to take one of these. One of these is for the inside of the card. I'm not real sure how I want to finish it off or anything. I am taking my Gina K tape runner, because Gina K will give you some wiggle room, okay? So basically what you're going to do when you get ready to make your card is you're going to lay these out, and you're going to have 1/4 of an inch border all the way around, and about 1/4 of an inch border in between your little squares. Do hope I'm in camera. And about like so, and about like so. Like so, okay? And once you feel like you've got a good handle on where your border should be, you can use liquid glue, because that would give you some wiggle room. Absolutely would. Oh, did I just run out? I just ran out. Hang on. I do have more. That brings up another good point. So her refills come in a 2-pack, right? How many are this easy to get a hold of and take out? Look at that. Look at that. Look how easy that is to get a hold of. All right. So, let me take this apart. And it's hinged. It is hinged. We're going to take this out and pop this one in. This is actually the first time I've had to refill it, guys. It truly is. First time. All right, now it'll glide. It comes out so easy. So easy. Love it. Make sure I've got it turned correctly. And I've got about 1/4 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch. And let me tell you, yours doesn't have to be perfect. If your border is a little smaller, a little bit bigger, it's okay. No big deal. It'll give you some flexibility, because between the sentiment and the hummingbird, that's going to really be your focal point. This is basically just your backdrop, okay? So that you've got a little something going on. You can use any stamp set, any kind of DSP, make your own DSP. Oh my heavens, I miss doing that. We got to get back into that. I've got to get back into that. Maybe we can do that here real soon with one of the new stamp sets. And it doesn't even have to be one of the new stamp sets. It doesn't. I'm going to show you how it gives you flexibility. And I didn't think about it on the first three. I just laid that down, right? I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to pretend this one isn't straight. Now, it was starting to get a hold. Didn't tear my cardstock. It's given me time to pick that back up and redo it. Hopefully I can get it on there straight. I did. That's why I like the Gina K. And where did my lid go? Here it is. I want to show you something else. I've never seen anybody else do this, okay? You see? Watch this. Either way. Doesn't matter how you pick it up or go to put it on. It's going to fit. I love it. I used to use Tombow. Tombow is very particular in how you pick it up and put the lid back on. Very much so. All right, now at this point, this is where I don't know, do we want to pop these up? And if we do we want to pop them both up? Do we only want one element popped up? I really think as big as a bird is, I may want him down flat, but we can pop up the sentiment. And of course, I didn't think to have these out. Hey guys, let me put a little bug in your ear real quick. Y'all know I'm an affiliate with Wendy's Creative Vault. Wendy Cranford has a Creative Vault, and it is packed full of 3D classes. There is a major 2024 Funfold class coming. I don't mean one class. I mean this is going to be huge, guys. She is aware that one of the most popular things that she has in her vault, and she's got a ton of stuff, guys, a ton of stuff, is the twice a month Stamp and Chat live with her and her sister. Her sister, I have fell in love with her. I've never met her. I don't know that I will ever get to meet her, but I have fell in love with her just like I have Wendy. And ladies, they're hilarious. They are hilarious. And I will tell you, what happens in the vault stays in the vault. But it's adorable. So if that is something you feel like you would only want, and you wouldn't want anything else, you wouldn't want the scrapbooking classes, you wouldn't want the 3D classes, you wouldn't want all the other stuff that Wendy has got in there, you can do that for $4.95 a month. If you want the whole enchilada, $14.95 a month. Wendy Cranford just put out a video, was it yesterday? So by the time you're seeing this, she either posted it Tuesday or Wednesday on her YouTube channel. Go check it out. She's giving you a tour and a good look at what that Creative Vault is all about. So if you're not sure, go check it out. Absolutely. All right, where do I want to put my sentiment? I'm actually going to bring it in just a little bit and kind of bridge two of those. And I hope I put that down straight because I pushed on it instead of just laying it gently on there. I pushed. And I think that was a little crooked. Is that straight? Yeah, seems to be. And then I'm going to glue this little fella down flat. One of the things I thought about was making a, Oh, what do they call those things? I've got them right over here and on my tape. Those, oh, what do they call these springy things? But you know, if you were doing this maybe for a kid, a little girl or something for a birthday card, wouldn't it be funny to make it a boingy so that it would vibrate like it was really flying? I thought that would be cute. I've got the large one and the small one of those. Of course, within reason, you can cut them down, but yeah, I thought that would be cute. So here we go. And I picked that particular DSP because it gives a suggestion of flowers without you actually happen to have a flower. I thought that was awesome. All right, guys, we are almost there. Let's go ahead and get this glued onto the front, and then we've got our inside piece, and I'm looking, while I'm doing this, I'm looking at that stamp set, trying to figure out what I might want to stamp on my inside piece. But again, this is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. The white layer for the inside and the outside is 4 by 4. Your DSP is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. Okay. And here is my other piece for the inside. What do I want to stamp? Without having to color it, I think we're going to take this little stem and put that on there. Let me find a block. Is that big enough? That's big enough. And I'm just going to stamp the whole thing in boho blue. Do I have any scratch paper? Let me see. Well, I've got this one where I was playing earlier. Can I talk? Words are hard. Where I was playing earlier in the week, and I'll just use that. I usually don't throw those papers away until I am good and marked up all over them to where I can't practice stamp anymore. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. I love this set. I hope you love this set. Okay. Clean that off if I can very quickly. All right. There we go. By the way, guys, this host code, can you read sideways? Is only going to be good for what? One more day after this. Don't have my calendar in front of me, so I don't know. Don't get me lying. Anyway, and then we'll have a new host code because it will be a new year. That's amazing. That's amazing. Love, love, love it. All right. I don't know what I want to say on the inside because, you know, somebody being in your thoughts, there's a host of reasons why they might be in your thoughts. And so I have just really learned over time to maybe not finish off the inside until I am ready to give it. Yeah. Okay, guys. So what do you think? Were you nervous about maybe trying to color these images in this set? Have I helped you any at all in being less nervous and more comfortable? You do you. Do colored pencils. I see I'm probably going to end up, I should have took my tape runner all the way to the edge, and I didn't. And that's a no-no in my book. I don't want any little flaps. I don't want any flappy doos. Let's see. There we go. And if I find any more, I'll glue them down too. But what do you think, guys? Easy, simple. Look how you could mass produce those. Get all your card bases, get all your white layers, get all your DSP. And speaking of DSP, you don't even have to have really big scraps to make this work. And obviously, it will fit into an A2 envelope. If you make your own custom envelopes, make your own envelope to fit it. From side to side and top to bottom, either way is both 4 1/4. All right, guys, until we meet again next Tuesday, I plan on being here for a live. Don't know what we're going to be doing. We'll do something. Y'all be safe. Be blessed. Know you are loved. God is good all the time. Bye.